What's up, YouTube? Happy Friday. It is right around 5:30 p.m. right now. I just wrapped up work for the week and I need to get some photography in this weekend. It's literally been probably like a month and a half since I felt like I had a solid day of photography, and I am kind of going a little bit insane. So the plan for this weekend, I'm going to probably take a couple of days and make an attempt to get some solid photos this weekend. There's a number of different reasons why I haven't really been doing a ton of photography. Number one, because of the whole coronavirus thing that's going on. And number two, mostly because the weather here in Buffalo, New York has been terrible. It's been so cold. I think it's like 15 or 20 degrees colder right now than it typically is on average in the month of April. And so there are literally still no leaves on the trees. And I think that today is April 24th, 25th. I actually don't know what the day is. But I've packed my bag. I got this gigantic backpack full of camera gear down here, full of clothes up here, and I am ready to get after it. So the plan is to head down to my parents' lake house, which is probably like an hour from here. And like I said, it's right around 5:30, 5:35 right now. And I think that I'll be able to make it down there before the sun sets. So let's cut to the chase. No more talking. Let's do some photography and let's get on the road. I spent a little bit of time kind of walking around here trying to figure out exactly how I wanted to photograph it, and I ended up deciding that I was going to shoot it from this angle for a couple of different reasons. The first reason is because it has a little bit of a layered look to it, and by a layered look I mean it has these rocks in the foreground, it has the dock, it has the lake, and then it has this hill all the way in the background. I really like this composition. I think it's really cool, and the fact that it has all these different layers I think brings a lot of interest to this photo in particular. And so I ended up going, as you can see with my camera right here, with a vertical composition, and I have a feeling that once I get it on my computer I'm probably going to crop it to like a 4:3 aspect ratio or maybe even a square, because I think that there's quite a bit of dead space at the top and the bottom that I'm not super interested in. Unfortunately, as I was driving up here, it completely lit up. It was completely gorgeous. The sun started peeking through and it looked really good. But by the time that I actually pulled into this spot over here and started setting up a composition, the sun kind of got covered up by the clouds. And we did have this little gap right here, as you can see behind me still. There was a nice little gap of some light, but it wasn't perfect. I think I'll definitely come back to this spot with better light, and I might even tweak the composition a little bit more, but I'm definitely happy with how the shot came out. And I don't know how it's going to come out in the edit just because there wasn't a whole lot of good light to work with there, but we can probably make something happen. I am currently en route to my parents' house, where I think my brother, my sister, and both my parents are right now. So definitely going to take it easy tonight. It's like 8 o'clock right now. Not planning on staying up late at all, because tomorrow morning I'm going to be going to Letchworth State Park, which is a place that I've been to a million times in these videos, but I'm going there for a sunrise, which I've never actually done before. And I looked at the SunCalc application to see exactly where the sun is going to rise tomorrow, and it looks like one of my favorite overlooks almost has like a perfect line of sight on where the sun is going to rise. And so I'm praying that that's going to pan out really nicely. The weather forecast says that it's going to be completely clear tomorrow. Actually, not completely clear, but it says very, very lightly cloudy tomorrow morning. And so that means good things for a good sunrise, as long as the clouds don't cover up the sun. And so I'm looking forward to that. This road is ridiculously bumpy. I am sorry about this, by the way, but I'm looking forward to tomorrow morning. It's gonna be fun. And tonight I think we're gonna get a couple games of pool in or something like that, and get to bed early. I've made it to the spot, and this place is awesome. The only problem with it, however, is that it's such a wide, incredible vista, but it's incredibly difficult to kind of take in the whole thing in one frame. And that's kind of what I want to do. It's got this really awesome bend of the river that goes around this hill that's on the opposing side of the valley to me, and it looks really, really cool. The sun's gonna set, or actually rise, in that direction over there, and I'm hoping to get some really, really good light as the sun keeps coming up. So what I'm trying to do, I've got my camera set up right here on the tripod in a vertical position, and so I'm going to try to do a panoramic of this whole scene. And I don't have any sort of panoramic head or anything like that. I just have a standard ball head tripod, and so I'm going to see what happens. I'm going to just go for the panoramic, hope it stitches in Lightroom, and hope it looks clean. But if I can get it and it looks clean and all the stitching works really well, I think this one's gonna come out really good. But for the time being, we gotta wait on this light. I am really, really skeptical about this panoramic right now, just because it's so wide. Like, I had to take so many shots horizontally that I think it's gonna be like a mile long. And I also took it, I think, around like 18 or 19 millimeters. So it's vertically super wide as well. So I don't know what the distortion is gonna look like or anything like that. So I don't really do a ton of panoramic photography. And when I do, it's more so on like the telephoto side to really exaggerate the compression of a scene. But with this, it's a super, super wide angle panoramic, and it's also really long horizontally. So I'm kind of interested to see how it's gonna come out. I'm so sick of the cold. It's only like 35 degrees outside right now, which isn't the worst it's ever been. But it's April 25th now, and I think I've had enough. It's like 20 degrees. I think I said this earlier in the video. It's like 20 degrees on average colder than it usually is in the month of April. And it's been brutal. As you can see from the B-roll and the footage earlier, there's not even a single leaf on the trees. But I am excited to see how this panoramic came out. So the plan right now, it's only like 6:20 a.m. I'm going to drive back home to Buffalo. I'm going to throw these photos onto my laptop or onto my computer. And we're gonna see if this panoramic even stitches together, and let alone see if it even looks good. So definitely skeptical, like I said earlier, interested in seeing how it comes out. I think that it was like 7 or 8 photos wide, and I shot at like 19 millimeters, so it's super tall as well. And it's gonna be completely distorted and interesting looking, but let's go see what it looks like. We're back home in Buffalo, and I figured I'd do a little bit of filming outside because turned out to be a pretty nice day out today. It's like 40 something degrees, which is actually pretty warm for how it's been lately. And we got some clear blue skies, which is amazing. It's definitely a breath of fresh air. I mean, literally, quite literally right now, it's a breath of fresh air. I haven't been outside in weeks. But let's talk about these photos. So the first photo that we took was the one of the dock with the various layers. I really, really like how that photo turned out after the edit. And so to give you a little bit more insight on how I took that photo, it was actually a 30-second long exposure. I used a 10-stop ND filter as well as a polarizer. And to be completely honest, I don't really know if the polarizer did a ton there. There was a little bit of glare on the water, but the 10 stops obviously helped to slow down the shutter speed to 30 seconds so I could get that really nice, smooth water. And I really, really like this photo of the lake. My parents have a lake house on this lake, and I haven't really done a good job of taking photos around the lake, but I'm making an effort this year to take some photos so I can print it out and hang it up in the lake house, because they bought it probably 2 years ago, and it really doesn't feel like it's ours yet. It doesn't have like any of my photos on the walls or any of our stuff to make it feel homey, and so I'm making a concerted effort to make some photos at the lake house to make the place feel like our own, you know? The second photo that we took at Letchworth this morning, and by the way, it's 10:30 a.m. right now, and I literally got back 2 hours ago or whatever it was, and I've already edited all the footage that you've already seen. So if you want to talk about productivity, talk to me. I'm just kidding. But So this photo, I'll show you it right now. This is the Panoramic, and to be completely honest, I don't like it at all. I'm very impressed that Lightroom was able to stitch together that Panoramic, and the actual stitching of it doesn't look bad at all, but I really don't like the photo for a couple different reasons. Number one is because there's like no color in the photo besides the sunrise. All the trees in the foreground are all completely dead still, essentially, because of the winter, and none of the leaves have grown back. And I don't think it was that strong of a composition from my end. However, taking this photo, it's kind of inspired me, and it's given me ideas for future photos in the same spot. So I'm kind of envisioning taking this same idea of the really wide angle panoramic and somehow getting into a position where there's a lot of leaves, that once the trees are filled out and maybe there's some like weeds in the foreground and stuff like that, doing a super wide angle panoramic, and having it kind of seem like the frame is surrounded by trees and by leaves, and then having this awesome scene kind of in the background, potentially at sunrise or something like that. It's given me some good ideas for future photos. This one definitely isn't. I'm looking at it on my phone if you're wondering why I'm looking at my phone. It's not my favorite. I actually don't really like it at all, but it's definitely inspired me to go back there and take a little bit of a different photo. So I'm excited to do that, and I'll definitely be doing that at some point this summer. But I think that the mission of the past day and a half or so was a definite success. I managed to get outside. We had a little bit better weather than we have been for the past couple of weeks. I completely avoided human interaction, so I didn't see anybody else while I was escaping quarantine. So that was a success. But this second photo, I think, needs a little bit of tweaking. Anyways, can't complain, was happy to get outside, and was happy to make a couple photos. As always, guys, thank you a ton for watching. I appreciate it big time, and if you haven't already, please go down below and give the video a thumbs up. It really helps out my channel. It helps for more people to see my videos, and it just helps for the YouTube algorithm overall. Again, thank you guys for watching. I make videos like this every single week, and I'll plan on seeing you guys next week. Peace.